Good morning. Hello, hello. All right, I'm going to hang out here and then I've got a little something something for you. I figured I would talk a little bit about the podcast episode that I did. For those of you that don't listen to the podcast, we'll make a little video about it. I see Tara's popping on, so let me let her in. Sorry, I really didn't look at myself today until I put this on. So I am decent. Let's see. Um, all right. Let me see. Everyone, as you're waiting, take a breath, center yourself. There's a lot going on in this world. We're entering Lionsgate time. Well, we're in Lionsgate time, a very powerful time. I mean, I believe that all the times are powerful times, but there are openings, there are portals that are a little more sped up or connected. Um, so we're in that time right now. Good morning, Tara.
Hey,
How are you?
good thing.
Good. I
Nice
was
to
just
talk to
talking
you.
about, and I know you probably know a little bit about Lionsgate. So we're in that zone right now.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And if there's anything, I have one of my best friends, Kelly, is like super into astrology. She keeps me informed on all the things. She's read my chart. I'm not super knowledgeable, but I know that there are bigger structures and systems happening than our plans. So astrology, although I don't know all that much about it, never claimed to be an expert at all. I know a little bit, and I do trust that we're all connected to in bigger ways than we can ever imagine. So I don't know, are you an astrology person or do you have any advice or knowledge about the Lion's Gate or any ways that you um, celebrate it, rituals you do?
Yes, I'm not an astrologer, but I am
Okay, yeah, I love
in
it.
astrology.
Please share.
Um, I find it interesting. Um I like embodied astrology.
Mhm.
It's like tapping into your system to feel. Usually it's like whatever I'm feeling in my body, I'll find out, oh, that's going on astrologically.
Mhm.
It's like that current is so strong for everyone, and it's I feel like it's kind of like frequency therapy. So all the frequency is like affecting our DNA so specifically, but so generally collectively. So it's just such a, I find as detailed as it is, it's like definitely a collective experience. So just for me, it's doing kind of just like an inner wisdom practice.
Mhm.
And so just like tapping into my body and feeling into what is always the wisdom to be learned with that support, because it's such a physical support and rechoice always, however it's affecting us. That's how I see it. So it's just, I feel like everyone has their own personal way of like calibrating with
Yeah.
divine human design and all that.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I've just, for me, it's always includes movement,
Mhm.
processing, mind, body, emotions, and all of that. Lionsgate is very heart space,
Mhm.
um, like courage and all that. So, um, I'm, yeah.
Yeah, no, 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 that's perfect. I don't mean to put you on the spot at all. I
Yeah.
just, I know that the spiritual teachers are all talking about it. And again, how I see things is that we always have a choice. We're always choosing every day higher self or pattern, right? And so,
Yeah.
I, and that being said, there are times, vortexes, if you will. Like wherever I am, I also know that I am at choice. I do my best to be aware, far from perfect, but I do my best to be aware of who I am being, my patterns. But I also know, like, was it last year or maybe the year before that? I've been many times, but the last time I was in Sedona, Arizona,
Oh,
like
wow.
those are one of those places that you very much feel vortex. Like, we can upgrade anywhere. So I don't want that to hold people back. But I do think there are places, for me personally, it's by an ocean. I just feel connected to so much more when Sedona, the ocean, like outside, when I'm not in any cell phone range, when I'm going on a hike or something. And so I do see that there are heightened times, heightened places that are like, whoosh, we can, it's like a fast track to whatever we're creating. And we are in that time. I will again share this is not from me, but this is what I have found out. So the Lionsgate portal is from about July 26th to August 12th with the peak on 8/8, of course. So that's coming up. And like Tara said, it's when the sun is in Leo, and Leo is often the zodiac sign associated with courage, creativity, self-expression, leadership, and like you said, living from the heart. And 8 is associated in numerology with abundance, personal power, achievement, and infinity. So it's this 8/8 infinity loop. And, really, if that's just waking up every day at this time till about 8/12, especially on 8/8. I know on 8/8, my daughter's coming up, so I'm going to have lunch with her, but then I'm going. A lot of you know that I've been training in the somatic energy and we're having a gathering. So we get to work on each other, get worked on up at my friend Lori's ranch, which overlooks the Pacific coast. It's a special place already. And so I'm going to be immersed in that energy on that day. And just really, I think it's about stepping into who we are becoming, really taking the time to be diligent about what we're creating. Again, higher self vision or just simply recreating patterns of the past. And every day on days like this, I do my best from everything to what I wear. Sounds silly, but right, what does my body feel good in? What I wear, what is my body, what does my appearance say about me, to what I eat, eating whole foods, like as we say, one ingredient foods as opposed to any processed, like dead food, drinking purified water, all those I take a little more serious on at this time because I know it echoes. And it's just a great practice to be able to then take into the day to day. So I didn't want to not say anything about Lionsgate because we are in it, and I'm sure you can look all over the internet for different practices and different things you can do. But I keep mine simple. It's about intention. It's about getting clarity on what it is you are creating and choosing every day to step into that as opposed to, what has been. So I did want to say that. Also, I wanted to tell you, Tara, just good feedback, if you will. I got a message from somebody, and I know there's only a handful of people in here, and I'm actually in conversation with somebody on how to build school community and all that. It's something I have not even remotely dived into at all. So the group is small, sort of on purpose. It's just I haven't given much time to growing it or talking about it or anything. But I did want to tell you, my friend, that I've got some feedback from actually three people that do watch replays. And, the consensus is Tara's so cool. We want to hear more. And I'm like, I know she is. So I do want to tell you that people do watch and what your shares have been valuable for others. And that is why I do this. And it always brings me back to, I remember I went to see, this was a 2020 or something like that. I went to see Eckhart Tolle, and he wrote the books The Power of Now. And so I went up to San Francisco to go to one of his talks, and it was, first of all, incredible to be with somebody who is so self-aware. Like his presence is like, woof, like, and not in a righteous way or like I'm the guy, but like, and think what you will about him. My experience was he is quite enlightened and really just such talk about being. He is just in the state of being. And he talked about that night how for many years, many years, after he had, as he calls it, his awakening, he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to share about it. So he went to, I think it was like a community center, and one of his friends or someone started telling him, you should talk about this. People are suffering. They need your help. You're so wise. So he went to some community center and, asked if he could use the room, or is a church, something like that. Anyway, he said for weeks he went and he would set up chairs and nobody would come. But he decided that he was going to give the talk anyway. And he would just talk into empty chairs and just say what came and how the practice of being had changed his life and the power of now, which is his best-selling book. And then he said probably 5 or 6 weeks, one person showed up. And then the next week, no one came. And then the next week, that other person that came that first time brought someone else. And then the next week, those people brought two other people. And then the next week, like two people came again. And it was like this growth and then contraction, growth and then contraction, slowly. But he said, every single time, I didn't care if 0 people or 20 people were in those chairs, I gave that talk as if I was talking to stadiums, as if I was talking to the world. He showed up because he knew it wasn't really about who was listening at the time. It was his mission to give that talk. And so from then, and then all of a sudden he's sitting on Oprah. He's selling out, his book is translated. I think it's like the most translated book in history in terms of languages, one of the highest selling books ever. And he equates it to he didn't give up. And if he looked at those chairs when they were empty and stopped or said, this isn't working or no one's showing up, he wouldn't have to him, he doesn't care, like be where I am today and have the success. To him, it's, I wouldn't have the impact that I'm having. The message would get out to less people. And I always knew it was about the message. It wasn't about me, Eckhart. So I just wanted to say that for anyone that listens, is that even though this group is small right now, I know that at some point I wanted to have a place to house some of my content and to build on a smaller scale, for people that don't have thousands of dollars to work with a coach or, one-on-one. And so I am so committed and will stay committed and at some point grow. But even for now, the feedback that I've gotten from just the handful of you is like, the message is the commitment. And so I just wanted to thank you while you're on, Tara, because you've been a part of that the last couple of weeks for people that can't show up at this time, but do watch. And you, my friend, are having an impact with just anything that you share for those people. So that is an invitation for anyone else to jump on at any point. I know it's a little bit of an awkward time for those of you that work during the day, but I hear that, and this is so much bigger than a group of 10 or 15 or whatever's in here. And it's so much bigger than me. It's my commitment to, as Tara said before, raising the frequency, raising the vibration of the planet. This is a small part of me contributing to that. So I just wanted to speak to that for a moment. So and thank you, Sarah, and maybe that Tara, and that maybe that also reflects on you. You know, I know you're building a program, and it's just a reminder, whether it's now or something else you build out, even if no one is showing up or not, if we all have launches where people don't show up or don't buy right away or whatever, I always go back to that story Eckhart told, where it was like it wasn't about that for him, and the best thing he did was stick with the message. So I hope that does that resonate?
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I'm so grateful for your, like, I feel like this is an anchor for me in the week. It's like, okay, like these calls. So it's,
Yay.
I'm grateful for your commitment and yeah. And
Yes. Well,
yeah,
thank you for being a part of it. And that's what I wanted it to be. It might not be the place where, I hope that there's some depth here. I've always want to bring depth to the coaching. But I want it to also be a place like a springboard, a refresh every week where, because we're all going along, unfortunately, a lot of us feeling quite isolated. And so, I really wanted to be with a larger community, or at least more than just us, and have it feel that way. So thank you again for being a part of it. And so the thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I don't know if you've listened to it yet, Tara, or listened to any, but I did a little podcast, and because I have a podcast and it's a short one, but I was inspired by a conversation that I had, and this one is about ignoring the title. You try to do a catchy title as a marketer, right? So the title is ignore reality and create anything you want. And so just some of the points in the podcast I wanted to go through quickly today. And it's this concept of, pretend. Now, pretend, and, people say act as if and all that, and, semantics, but I never want to sort of be acting, and I don't really use those words. It's more being like, so that, and that's what we do here, is clarifying what it is you want and who that woman, who that man is, that version of you that has it. And the practice, and it's a practice for all of us, is to live into that version today. So there's tons of coaches out there that are going to give you, and you can go to ChatGPT for strategy of how do I make $5,000 extra a month? How do I launch a coaching program? How do I, be the best healer on the planet? Whatever. They're going to give you a strategy, and it's probably going to be some great things and some not so great things. Strategy is not really the problem here. That's easy. It's really about, and that's where we dive into here, who you're being, right? So it's about being that version of you, and not the pretend, not the act, but a little bit of that sort of upgraded version of you who has that future, who has that money, who embodies that loving relationship, the health, the vibrant health that you want. And I do believe that we all have a choice every day to step into that or not. And that is the practice. So how I broke it down in the podcast is this concept again of pretend. And I was out like watering some of the flowers I have in my garden, and I was thinking, right? So everything the flower, the beautiful purple flowers that I have, they start as seeds. And in a sense, I have to pretend to the seed before it's the flower in order for the flower to grow, right? So I can't see the flower when I plant it and it's just a seed, but I am making sure it has the right light. I'm making sure it's got rich soil. I'm making sure I water it, right? If it gets too hot. So I'm pre tending to something that I can't see yet. And that's the practice here. So it's not so crazy and delusional to see something before it sprouts. We do it all the time with, it's the food we eat starts out as a seed, and you're pretending to it before it's the carrot, before it's the zucchini, or else you're never going to get the carrot or the zucchini. So I kind of loved that, how that I broke that down of like the pretending to, and that's what we want to do with whatever it is we want to create. Right. So whether it's more money in your bank account or financial freedom, whether it's, calling in this love, or calling it into the relationship that exists now, or, a lot of people deal with health issues and really dream about this vibrant, energetic body that's not bogged down with inflammation or dis-ease or whatever. So it's tending to that before you can see it. So when I say like ignore reality, if the bank account is not the number that you want it to be, trust me, I've been there. It's like, how can we like play at life like it is? Like add a bunch of zeros and commas on that. And who does that make you be, right? I don't know about you guys, but it actually, it's a funny thing because I ask people this sometimes and they're like, oh, well, I would buy this and I would buy that. Sure, there's probably some truth to that, but for me, I know that I all the things that I could buy were really fun to think about and dream about when I had very little money. But now that I'm in a little bit of a different place, I'm a different place than that. Oh man, like I respect my money. I don't waste my money. I'm very diligent about who I spend money with and what stores I purchase from and what things I purchase from. Like I used to spend money like crazy when I had none. And now I'm like, I really care. I want my money to be, supporting things I believe in, to be like, so it's a totally different gen of, the lack or the abundant. And so that's what, when I say ignore, it's like, what is it that you want? And that doesn't mean, for anyone listening, that does not mean don't pay your bills. It doesn't mean don't be responsible. It doesn't mean any of that. We've talked about this here. It's none of that. It's not avoidance. No, but it is handle what needs to be handled in your current reality, in your situations, and then shift your focus to what it is you're creating. So ignoring, handle what you need to handle, and then ignoring the situation, or better word, maybe moving on and focusing on what is working. What are you creating? What do you want to see in your bank account? How does your body feel when it's one of health and vibrancy and you're radiating? How does that feel? And even if it's, I think it's Abraham Hicks. Doesn't she say it's like 17 seconds? Hold the frequency for like 17 seconds, and then you can grow it to like 20. And then you can grow it to like, just like meditation, you're not going to start and sit for 3 hours. You start for 5 minutes, and then you go 8 minutes, and then you go 10 minutes, right? So that's what we're talking about here, is really tuning into that part, that, what you want to what you want to call in, pretending to what is not there yet. So that's a practice for all of us, whatever it is we're creating that we're not seeing yet. It's, most people are saying, I always mess these up, but I'll believe it when I see it. Yes, and we say we see it when we believe it. It's a little bit of shift, right? And then the other part of this, which is very connected to that first part and the pretending to, is, life hits really differently. It really, we can live really differently when we embody this concept that the universe it's a friendly universe. It's a loving universe that is supportive of us and our dreams. And I firmly believe that we would not have the dream, the vision, the goal that we have if it wasn't possible. Like there are some people out there that have goals and dreams that I don't have. I don't at all feel called to certain things. And my dreams, someone else might not. So, whatever it is unique to you that you dream of, it's given to you for a purpose. And in a friendly universe, in a loving universe, there's support for you to make it happen. It is our job to tune in to that and to believe in that and live from that place of like, oh, I wouldn't be dreaming to move to Italy and sell all my things or whatever if that wasn't possible and it wasn't for me, right? Because not everyone dreams of that. So, there are people that dream of being an athlete or a pro athlete or whatever on Wall Street, whatever. We all dream of things. We have goals, we have visions because they're possible for us. And in a friendly universe, there is support. And I do believe that when we continually step into that, it's like we unlock all the support that comes. But we can't see that before. We see it on the journey. It's like that thing. I'm always amazed, and this just happened a little bit ago where and this happens to me too many times when I have held myself back from like investing in something or starting something because of all the fears and the what ifs. But it's only when I started, only when I invested in, only when I took the first couple steps, then all of a sudden, oh, this opportunity came in, or this client popped up, or this, these people hired me to speak here, or this business wants to hire me to help here, or whatever. But that didn't happen until I kind of took the steps and showed the universe, yeah, I'm all in because I trust you. Right. And we can't see that beforehand. It's kind of, I wish we could. It would be nice to have, to have, to know it was all going to work out. But that's generally, it's inherent in the risk that we walk the walk, and that's when support shows up. So that's kind of those two concepts where the main theme of the podcast is the pretending to. We all have situations and circumstances in our life that really feel very real, that hold us back. And it's tending, doing what you need to do in that situation, yes, and then pivoting your focus to what you want to create multiple times over. And then understanding that the dream, the vision, the freedom that we all crave is possible in a universe that supports us, in a friendly, loving universe that wants our growth, our evolution, our excellence, our higher selves. So living into that and really choosing that. So listen to that, do with it what you will this week, practice that. I can also put the link to the podcast, but essentially I say the same things I said here. But really, yeah, it's because what holds most people back is the circumstances and the situations that are happening in their life now. And you can create something very different, but it's going to take intention and focus. So that's the practice. So was that helpful, Tara, to you? Did anything resonate specifically?
Yeah, I love that. The pretending to. Yeah,
Right?
it's like a nurturing like
Growing
aspect,
that
and
seed.
yeah, I love that. When I was becoming a Pilates instructor
Hmm.
uh, at 17, I was so intimidated, and it was the whole fake it till you make it. And
Hmm.
it was just like, it was very much, I had to step into character, into
Yeah,
role,
I
and,
get it. Hmm.
and from this shy girl who couldn't talk to anyone to like bossing people around with their body. They're like, who is this? first.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Leg
I don't know.
higher.
This is not me, but I'm doing it somehow.
Totally.
But yeah,
Totally. I
um,
love that. I don't know if I've ever shared here, but I taught yoga for a long time in my
uh,
early 20s. So I was yoga teacher trained. And so I can so relate to that where, you have to, they have you, well, at least the training that I did was like a 2 week in-person training. And then you needed a certain amount of hours. So we all went home and then we had to like, go into these studios and pretend we knew what we were doing. And I was like, and I had my little, oh, this is the sequence and stuff. And, I mean, I got through it, did the best you can, but it's just same. I had to like step in and allow myself to totally mess up, massacre the names of these asanas. And I'm like, I don't know.
yes,
But that, as you're saying, it is literally the way that had me in the probably what 50th class step in and not even think twice and not need my notes anymore,
yeah,
right?
so
Because I was able to show up, fake it till I made it, and that's how I learned. And it's I love that you brought that up because on a coaching call I was doing just yesterday, again, this concept of like, well, I wish I had the confidence to, XYZ. And it's like, oh man, if people only knew, like, don't wish for the confidence. What there is to work on first is the courage, right? I'm always telling people confidence comes with doing. Work on having the courage to start. That's all you
yeah,
need. You don't need the confidence first. That'll never happen. know,
yeah,
Having the courage to be willing to learn, be willing to, like Tara, all those years ago, and like myself, where we didn't really know what we were doing, but we had some courage to at least start and to learn and to look like a fool and to mess up the names and to like not know what we're and be judged. And, I remember those first couple classes, I had people walk out. They're like, she clearly does not know what she's doing, but then
oh,
down the
yeah,
months down the road, I had people that are like, can you teach more? I want to do more of your class. But it's like I had to sit through the walkouts in order to do that, So it wasn't about feeling confident or ready. It was about courage and having the courage to walk and mess up and be okay with it. So I love that you
for
shared
sure. It's actually quite opposite. You have to be willing,
that.
you have to have humility and being willing to be humiliated and not
Right?
confident enough because that's where we learn and that's where I feel like it made me so receptive to
Mm.
like God, I do not know how to talk to these people. You talk to them. Like I feel like as when you put yourself out there, like it also makes you more receptive and humble and like open to learning, like you were saying, like just open to learning, like because the confidence, even still, it's like I
Yeah.
can think I'm gonna be confident, and that's probably usually when I'm like I know how to be confident,
Mhm.
meaning I know how to be humble enough to know I don't know what I'm doing, but
Exactly.
being willing to learn in the moment.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that because if we're doing it right, although I don't like to say there's right and wrong, good or bad, but if we're doing it right, which I believe is always in some ways living our edge, always growing and learning and evolving. Like coaching to me, I can coach at this point anyone. I don't need notes. I don't need chat GPT. I don't need, like, I've been doing it so long, it's just in me. But I will be totally transparent. Again, I'm taking this like 2 year somatic energy training, and I'm like, Like, I don't know. And it's really interesting because I've received this work. It's a lot most of you know, it's my brother-in-law and my sister who have developed this powerful work that's been on Goop and that's Tony Robbins and all this other stuff. And I've received it for they've been doing it maybe 10, 15 years and they used to practice on me. So I've received it, but learning it and being the practitioner of it and actually looking at what I need to like look for and the energetic ties and the ways that we like release and what I mean, it's a totally different system, and I am being so humbled because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I mean, I think, so let me rephrase that. Intuitively, I think I know what I'm doing, but in order to really allow that to move forward, I want to get the concepts right. And it's a very in-depth work. And so the concepts are, it's a little, it's all vortexes and quantum physics and mechanics and biology and it's all really, and my mind that hasn't been in like a classroom in like 20 years is like, so I love that you brought that up because I am being so humbled, but it's in the best of ways because it feels so good to like not know and just soak it up and just practice, because I, like you, Tara, in most of my life as a mother, as a coach, as a business owner, I am leading. I am teaching. I am doing all the things. It feels so good to just be a student to like soak it. I'm kind of loving that energy right now to like not knowing. It's so,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a specific type of being held. Like in just knowing like you're gonna be held to know. Like
Mm,
it's a different state of being for sure.
totally. Yes. I love that. Yes, I love that. It's really and I think that's important for those of us that also are leaders, coaches, mentors, healers, that we're not only perfecting our own craft, but we're also like consistent, like learning, also being open, being like the beginner's mind, like they say in Zen studies. Like I want that to be part of me for the rest of my life. I want to not always know. So, and I think that's a really wise place because it keeps us open, it keeps us humble, it keeps us curious,
Hmm.
about life, about work,
Yeah.
about, evolution. And so I guess I love that you brought that up. I'm going to say, so for anyone that's listening this week, let's all practice. I'm sure Tara has her ways. I just shared with you one of the ways I'm learning. Let's practice like not knowing in a way and being open and being coachable and learning and not having to be a master but humbling ourselves and maybe start an art class or a dance class or, God knows I've done some of that. And I'm like, I actually need to I want to join another dance class. It's been a while, but every time I get, I love dancing, but when you like learn a dance, I'm like, oh my God, like one, two, three, my coordination is, so it's good for me
Yeah.
to do certain things. Yeah. So, beginner's mind this week, pretending to whatever it is you're creating. And also, yeah, this is going to shut off soon. So, um, friendly, loving, supportive universe. Coming from that place has always helped me because I realize that even when things feel really hard, which sometimes they do, when I let myself sink into that, and it's like this, okay, this must be growing me because life always wants to support. And so if I'm struggling, how can I surrender a little more and stay open to maybe a little more magic because I am supported, even when I feel like I'm not. So it's a good practice for all of us, I think. So go out there this week and practice those things and beginner's mind too. So, um, but thank you again, Tara. I love our little chats and they're making a difference. So I will see you next week.
Thanks so much for yeah.
Of course. Enjoy your day, you and everyone else, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.